Venue. Venue? V is for venue. V is for venue. Put them together, what do you create? A W. A W stands for where. Where are we going to explore? Venue. At the end of this video, I will include a chart which I prepared while studying for the bar exam, which hopefully it could help you, the visual learners, if you are a visual learner. If you're better at listening and learning from that, well then, keep watching the video. Where were we? At the W. So if you break these apart, there are two parts, two elements. And there are two elements in venue. Venue can be proper in two places. The first, where all the defendants reside, and number two, where a substantial part of the claim arose. We are going to tackle both of them right now. The first one, where do all the defendants reside? To figure out where someone resides, you have to analyze the domicile. If you are a person, you're domiciled where you currently live and where you intend to stay indefinitely. I mentioned in other videos that this means that basically in simple terms, where's your license? Where are you registered to vote? Where is your passport registered to? It's just a permanent way of saying where you live. So if you're a person, that is where you reside. Now, if you are a corporation, you can have two domiciles. The first one is where the corporation is incorporated, which means where were the articles of incorporation filed, which state. And then the second one is where the headquarters are. So they could be in different states, meaning that the corporation can be domiciled in two places. A person can only be domiciled in one place, a corporation, two. Both considered entities in the eye of the law. Example time! So we have the plaintiff is from Georgia, and then we have three defendants. One is from Arkansas, one is from Pennsylvania, one is from New York. We are just looking at venues. So these are where these individuals are domiciled. That means that venue can be proper in Arkansas, Pennsylvania, and New York. All of the defendants do not need to reside in the same state. If, let's say, they all resided in Arkansas, then Arkansas would be proper venue 3 times around. But in this case, these 3 different states have proper jurisdiction. Not Georgia, because Georgia is where the plaintiff is domiciled. It is where venue is proper, where all the defendants reside. And that includes, in this case, Arkansas, Pennsylvania, and New York. Got it? Good. The plaintiff is still from Georgia. The defendant on this side, one of them is from Georgia and the other one's in Florida. The logic says venue is proper where all defendants reside. So that would mean Georgia and Florida. But here we have an issue because the plaintiff and the defendant are both from Georgia. One of them are. So that breaks diversity. And in order for a case to be in federal court, it either has to satisfy 2 different jurisdictional requirements. The first one being diversity jurisdiction, and the other one, federal question jurisdiction. If this was an issue about federal question, then diversity does not matter, and venue would be proper in Georgia and Florida. But if it were a diversity jurisdictional issue, then there would be an issue and the case would not be able to go to federal court. And venue is analyzing which federal judicial court can the case be heard. So lots of things in the mix to consider now that we're combining a whole bunch of different topics together. But once you get the hang of it, it's like a puzzle. You're putting each of the pieces together and trying to figure it out. You got this. The second part of venue, is the substantial part of where the claim arose. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do you quantify what is substantial? I had to look it up in the dictionary, and it said that substantial was an important part of something, a big part of it. So what does that mean? Think about it a little bit commonsensical. Where the accident occurred, where the injury occurred, where the contract was breached. A big part of, just think about it. Injury, contract, breach, where the problem happened that is not related to where a person lives. Another component when dealing with the V for venue is the transferability. You've seen this in TV shows, movies, or even maybe in your personal life. You may not be happy with the court you're in and you want to transfer, whether it be that you are closer to a different court, or you do not think you will get a fair trial, or you do not want to have media coverage. There's different reasons why people tend to transfer. I'm going to break them down into a proper transfer, an improper transfer, and then a forum non-convenience. I'm not really sure how to properly pronounce it, but you will know it when you see it written. Okay, if you have proper venue and you want to move it to another court, another federal court that has proper venue, the one thing you have to make sure is that the courts have personal jurisdiction over the individuals. And you start panicking. What is personal jurisdiction? I have another video that goes more in depth to it, but basically speaking, it's whether the courts have minimum contacts with the person to hear the case. And that often has to do with domicile and where the injury occurred, which is kind of what venue looks into. So when that happens, you can transfer from one proper venue to another proper venue. And then when you get to the new proper venue, so many proper venues, you apply the law, the state law of the court that you're going to be in. So suppose we are in Court A and we want to move to Court B, and Court B is also a proper venue. Then you will apply the laws of Court B. I'm going to draw it out. Give me 1 second. The plaintiff is from Georgia and the defendants 1 and 2. The first one is from Florida and the second one is from Tennessee. There's no issue of diversity here. The law of venue says that venue is proper wherever all the defendants reside. Venue is proper in Florida and Tennessee in this case. Let's suppose the plaintiff in Georgia files a case in Florida. Florida is proper venue, so we give it a V with a circle for proper venue. But then they want to transfer the case. They want to transfer it to Tennessee. Can they do that? Yes, because Tennessee is also proper venue. A transfer from proper venue to proper venue, no problem. Of course you have to fill out paperwork, but it's proper. So then when in Tennessee, it's a federal court, because venue deals with federal court listening to state cases where they can go, will apply the law of Tennessee because that's where it's sitting. If it's an issue with substantive problems or substantive issues, the law of the state of Tennessee apply. If it's a procedural issue, something that the Constitution governs, then the federal law applies. In this case, Florida and Tennessee would both be proper venues and they can transfer there. How convenient. Improper venue, it's as the name suggests, venue that's not proper. Venue that doesn't come from where all the descendants arise or where a substantial part of the case arose. If the plaintiff and the defendant want to transfer the case to an improper venue, then the court needs to consent from all the parties because it's an unnatural transfer. The plaintiff resides in Georgia and the defendants reside in Florida and Tennessee. Venue would be proper in Florida and Tennessee. Suppose that the plaintiff in Georgia files a case in Florida. It has proper venue. But the parties decide that they want to hold the case in North Carolina. Is there a proper venue in North Carolina? Let's check. Is North Carolina in Florida? No. Is North Carolina in Tennessee? No. You can ask yourself, did the injury happen in North Carolina? Let's assume it didn't. So then how can this plaintiff and defendant have this case in North Carolina? Well, they talk to each other, they agree, they all sign the necessary papers, and they say, yes, we consent to the transfer. We consent to the improper transfer because it's not a proper venue. So yes, it's allowed. Plaintiff says yes, defendants say yes, and yes. Now, what would the state law be if there's substantive issues in this federal court? You might be inclined to say North Carolina. The answer is actually Florida, because that's where the proper venue was originally. North Carolina is not the proper venue. So the laws of the state apply where there is proper venue. Got it? The last one, forum non-convenience. It means that if there's another state forum that is more convenient, then go for it. Are most of the witnesses in Florida and the case is being tried in Tennessee? Go to Florida because it is convenient. Forum non-convenience. It kind of says it in the name. Easy as that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And as always promise, here is my chart that I use when studying for the bar exam. Good luck studying. You've got this.